Welcome everyone, it's Nicola here, and I just wanted to report back because it's July the 7th, and that means it's day 7 of the World Watercolour Month. And my last video was recorded just after day 1, and I showed you my progress, and I was actually pretty disconsolate, I think is the word. So I had a good think after that, and I was thinking, oh, I really must only use decent watercolour paper from now on, because, you know, trying to work in that sketchbook I think is only just for drawing and perhaps watercolor pencils just to try and capture a mood or a color or something. So I won't be doing that again, and I'll only be using good watercolor paper, expensive though it is. I've got some big sheets that I'm cutting up at the moment, and that's made a big difference straight away. And then something magic happened. It's a story of magical intuition, this one, so I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I was mulling over what had gone wrong and what I needed to improve on and change. And I was watching, you know, YouTube's quite intuitive sometimes, isn't it? I don't know whether it can sense your mood. That's a bit of a worrying thought. But it started showing me this young chap called Rajiv Surendra. And he lives in New York, and he's a very talented individual. He was in Mean Girls, apparently, 20 years ago. I've got no idea what, I've never seen the film, so I don't know what part he played. He's very interested in lots of different things, and he had a bit of a grim upbringing. So, you know, so I sort of identify with him a little bit. Although mine was largely good, there were moments of utter terror and confusion. And he's obviously felt the same. So he used to retire into his bedroom, he used to hide in his bedroom and paint and do crafts. And I used to escape into books so I could identify with him. Anyway, he was it turned out he's a painter as well, learning watercolor. And the video I was shown, well, I was shown quite a few actually once I started watching him, but the one that caught my eye was him painting the salt flats of Utah. And I thought, oh, you know, this is going to be hard, isn't it? It's like mainly white with a few distant mountains. But the painting he produced quite quickly was really rather charming, and it was really obviously very good in terms of technical watercolor ability. The next video I was shown about him was of his teacher, who is a chap who he described purely as Marcelo. And he actually, then the next video was Marcelo teaching him how to use values in watercolor. So I was drawn to Rajiv's paintings, and I thought, well, the person who's teaching him, that sounds really good, doesn't it? So let's try and track him down. And the best thing of all was when Rajiv said in his video that Marcelo was starting a Patreon account. So I went and checked it out, and I thought, my God, that's incredibly, incredibly reasonable. So his beginner's masterclass is $10 a month in Patreon. And if you want to up a level and get into more lessons, then it's $25 a month, which is incredibly affordable. I can only think that Rajiv is advising Marcelo on how to be able to help more people, and that they, you know, put it on Patreon because they can spread it as wide as possible. Well, I wish him very well with it, because I've dived in already, obviously, and I've learned so many things already from Marcelo's classes about, you know, how to put your paint in your palette, what palettes are best to use, what brushes are best to use. I've been using some decent little brushes that, you know, were quite cheap, and I thought they were fine. But I ordered some new, better brushes, some silver black velvet. Let's show you one of them. Silver black velvet brush. There we go. It's like chalk and cheese. Well, as I described to my sister, it's like yogurt and wood. These are so soft compared with the previous brushes I was using, and so able to hold lots of water and paint, but yet the point is, let me just put that somewhere where you can see it. There you go. The point is incredible. I bought 3 and it wasn't cheap, but I think they're going to be a really good investment. So that's 3 things about how to lay out my palette, which brushes to use, only to use decent watercolor paper. And then I dived into his initial lessons over the last 4 or 5 days. So I have been painting every day. I just haven't been painting a picture every day, and I haven't been painting as badly every day, because now I want to really up my game. I want to really learn classical watercolor techniques so that I'm able to then paint my favorite place in Greece and my favorite skies in Shoreham with a modicum of technical skill, which hopefully will improve the paintings, because I've definitely got the drive to do it, and I've definitely got the eye, I think, and I can draw. I just need to really bone up on my technical skills. So let's show you what I've been doing over the last 4 or 5 days. I'll start with the I'm going to let's just show you here, and then I will show you in more detail. So this is a technical study of values, and you use the same color, so you can actually see what you're doing. So that was the first one I tried. Then I decided that was too messy looking, so I thought my daughter might like this as something to put in a frame. And so that was the next one. And then I went on to his value studies, which I found really, really hard. It's painting cylinders and squares and circles. And as you see, I didn't get very far with that because I overdid it. And that was when I realized that I'm using my paint way too thick, which was a good revelation, really. And then I got a bit bored. I will now have another go at my favorite scene in Greece. And I realized that by painting that, all these hard edges, I needed to learn how to fade properly, how to fade color one into the other. So that was that. That was still with the old brushes. And then I started on, there we go. Then I started on the balls. And this is a really good exercise. You basically draw a load of balls on a bit of paper and you try and take them from one color to the next. This blue and yellow, and you have a sort of mix of the two in the middle. And so that was my first attempt. Then I got worse, which was a bit tragic. That was my second attempt. And then that was my third attempt. So I think by the third one, I was getting better. Or maybe that was the first one. Let me just show you the previous one. Because I think I found that I had done one right down here that is not half decent. So that's that. And then I wanted to bust out a bit. I would never go at the value studies. But I only got that far, which was the first wash and the second wash, because I couldn't follow what he was doing, to be honest. I'm a bit dim like that sometimes. And then I had another go at the stupor scene, and they all ran together because I was doing wet on wet, so that didn't work at all. I was trying to soften the edges, but it didn't work. And you're painting on the backs of all your bits of paper. So then I felt like just painting a painting and busting out a bit. So I did a Scott Swinson inspired scene, which is just really very easy and lovely to do. And it really sort of, after you've been painting little squares and trying to fade the colours in, this was quite a relief. So it was a sort of abstract landscape. And then I had to go at putting a tree in because I'm not very good with trees. And the more practice I get, the better. I thought it needed something and I didn't fancy painting a barn. So a tree it was. And then this morning I got up totally inspired, 7th of July. So day 7 of World Watercolour Month. And I thought I'm going to try, because I've mixed up lots and lots of paints in various pots around the place to try and get the ideal consistency. I thought, let's use some of those up. So I thought I tried with turquoise and orange first, and I didn't like the neutral it made. It was a bit muddy looking. So that's the other thing I did. I finally painted a colour wheel, which those two bottom ones are too dark, I think. I don't think I got the right value on each of them. They all look okay until you get round to the blue, red, and the two purples in between. So I'll have another go at that. So I'm going to do lots more of these exercises that I haven't done to date, because I think they're very useful. And I definitely felt that doing the balls was definitely improving my skills on fading one colour into another. So then I did orange and blue, which was cobalt blue, and I can't remember the name of the orange, but it's a Daniel Smith one. And I quite like the grey that I got in the middle of that. So I thought, okay, so I'm not very good at telling warm colours from cool colours. So I think that's what happened here. I think I was using 2 warm colours, and they went, it doesn't look too bad on the camera, but it was just a pale orange really, rather than being a neutral. So I went with this one, and then I thought, okay, let's do some practicing of fading out, because I realised that that stupa scene needs to be faded out. The sky needs to be faded out as it comes down to near the mountains, because if the sun's setting behind the mountains, it would be light behind there. So that's what I was practicing here. And then I went on to practice the sky. And then I did a very bad attempt at washing it, putting your brush in the water. And I was really just looking forward to trying my new brushes. And then I had another go at this. You probably can't see it. It's so pale, isn't it? Look at that. I am showing it to you, aren't I? Yeah. The tones in that are so pale that I cannot show you by holding it up to the camera. So I'm going to superimpose it for you right now, and you'll see. Because that was definitely better. But then I couldn't resist, as you'll see, I couldn't resist trying to do one of those suns in the sunset, which is just tragic because I've got to stop doing that. So I was encouraged by that, and I thought, let's come at it. So I started to have a go with my new paints. Oh, so good. It's like painting with butter. You just literally, there's no resistance at all. They're so soft. And then I painted this little number, which isn't great, but I think it's better than I've done so far. Not everything I've done so far, but better than I've done anything in the last 7 days. So there is definite improvement here. And I wanted to recommend that you go and check out Rajiv Surendra's. He talks about lots of different topics. He's got a beautiful apartment in New York, and he really is interested in so many different things. If you're an artistic type, you'll absolutely love his videos. He does everything so nicely. So it's Rajiv Surendra, Surendra, and I will put in the description below a link to his channel and also the link to Marcelo's Patreon, because for $10 a month, going up to $25 a month, if you're interested in really learning, oh, I forgot to tell you the magic bit of the story. So I was being shown Rajiv's videos, and he talked about his teacher, Marcelo. And he said that the reason he chose Marcelo as his teacher, and he goes to fly to see him every month to get personal lessons, as well as working through the exercises that Marcelo gives him, it was because Rajiv absolutely loves John Singer Sargent, as do I. And he found Marcelo as being the greatest living painter in the style of John Singer Sargent. And that's why he chose Marcelo, and that's why I chose to watch Rajiv's videos and then sign up with Marcelo, because I absolutely love the way John Singer Sargent treats the Mediterranean light. And the other person who does this really, really well is Thomas W. Schaller. And I'll put the link to him underneath here as well, because this morning I watched him paint the spire of Notre Dame in Paris, and the whole way he laid the wash down was just beautiful. And he's got his own paintbrushes, which I could imagine are very painfully expensive. But I'm very happy with my new silver brand, black velvet style brushes right now. And the other thing I did was, after all of this agony and angst and everything, I've treated myself to a new palette, which was a little bit more expensive. It was about £37 if you waited 2-3 weeks for it to come from America. It's a Holbein 24-pan space palette with mixing, because I realised that my palette is lovely, great big ceramic thing, and it holds all my paints around the edge, but it's only got 2 compartments for mixing, which I'm finding a little bit difficult, because I really would like 3, and to be able to keep the colours. And what I'm also finding is the water runs around the edge of the compartment and muddies up. If you're trying to do 2 colours, one on either side of the compartment, they end up getting contaminated. So I've treated myself to a new palette. Now, I know that they say a poor workman always blames his tools. But in my case, I think the combination of using cheap paper sometimes to practice on, and then only using my good paper when I was painting a picture, and then using cheap paintbrushes, which I didn't know any better. I thought, how can they possibly be that much better? Well, let me tell you, they are that much better. The resistance you get from the synthetic cheap paintbrushes is not helping your painting in any way, shape or form. You can't get enough paint into the brush. You can't get that lovely wash and bead going, which is so easy with the new brushes. I think the bare minimum, if you're going to start watercolor painting and you wanted to buy a decent palette, Holbein 24 is the one for me. Short of getting one of the really expensive ones that these guys use, decent watercolor. I think you could start watercolor painting for, well, I spent about 20 quid in the beginning, and I think I'm ready to graduate. So that's what I did. I treated myself as a reward for all these painting squares I've been doing and painting balls. But I'll probably do the ball painting every day before I start any other kind of painting, because I really want to get really good at the soft fade of 3 different colours. I hope you're having a good World Watercolour Month, and I'd love to see some of your channels and pictures. So do drop your channel in the comments below, and I'll come over and have a look and subscribe and give you some likes. And thank you very much for the subscribers who've already signed up to this channel. This channel's going better than any of my business channels have ever gone, which is just a testament to choosing a topic on YouTube that has got a global appeal and lots of people enjoying it, which is watercolour painting. I'll be back soon.